All right, welcome to another episode of Investing with Keto. I have my co-host here, Jeremy. Jeremy, how are you today?
I am great. Things are going well. How about yourself?
Yeah, things are going well. I mean, can't believe we're like in what, October already?
Dude, yeah, there's less than 84 days left to the end of the year.
Wow.
And we just finished summer, right? It's like,
hmm
yeah, August, July, not too far ago. Only less than 90 days till the end of the year. It's wild.
It is crazy. I know my daughter's birthday is coming up. She'll be 16. My youngest one's like, wow, I can't believe 16 years old. So, but yeah,
Time flies.
it does. It does. I know you have young ones, and you hear it all the time, like cherish them because they do. I hear it all the time too. But then, I try my best to be present and enjoy, but it's still, like you look back, it's like, wow, it's amazing.
Well, that's cool. Well,
Yeah.
so actually, I saw you and your daughter in a video that you posted not too long ago. She helping you with your real estate stuff and business.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get her as with kids, you just want to give them the exposure, right?
Hmm.
Get them so they can see what you're doing. So I took her to one of my properties that we're remodeling and we're cleaning up. So I had to go in there and had her like, this is what dad's doing, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. So just trying to get her some education, just get her that exposure because it's easy, like we already have rentals for them, like which is, but they still don't quite understand because it was just kind of give it to them, right?
Hmm.
But I
Hmm.
wanted to give them the exposure and just so they can understand the behind the scenes and why we do what we do. So eventually, when they get old enough, I'll hand it over to them. So
That's great. I love that. Like passing on to the next generation, teaching kids how to do things that are hard. Something that school won't teach them, right? How to do at
Mhm.
all. Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of the hard thing, like one of my tenants just moved out, needs some cleaning, so I'm gonna get my kids. It's like, hey, you're gonna come and you're gonna clean this apartment. I already did the
Sweat
hard
equity.
stuff. I already did the hard stuff. I got all the like the furniture and all that big stuff that they left behind. I got out. Now he just needs sweeping and wiping down and cleaning the walls and things like that. So I'll have them do that kind of work. So
Great. Yeah, teach them how to work hard. That's a great skill.
yeah, yeah, work hard. And that's the thing, like as being a parent, you want to not only like show by example, but you'll want to
Hmm.
give them the opportunity to do the hard things.
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, especially in when they're home in a safe spot where they can fail a lot and be pretty secure, right?
Mhm.
Because out there, if you fail, sometimes it's not always, sometimes you learn a lesson through the pain of it,
Right,
right? So,
right. Yep. And then too, like I was like telling like do the hard things, right? If you do, I repeat this. I think I must just say this every week tonight. You do what's hard, life will be easy. If you do what's easy, life will be hard, right? You just do the hard things.
mhm.
I know we talked about in our other episodes about like just do the hard things, right? Or get used to doing the hard things because life will get easier for you.
Hmm. That's such a hard thing in the middle of the hard thing is there's the perseverance, I feel, is when those hard days come. Alex Mosey says, "This is what hard feels like," right? It's like you said this would be hard. You know it would be hard. It feels really hard. This is what hard feels like. Like welcome to
hmm
hard. Like you knew this would be hard. Just go
Yeah.
through it. And
Yes.
that's always been a comfort. It's like, all right, yeah, this is what hard feels like, and that's okay. And we can keep going, and we'll
hmm
just push through, and you'll learn, and you'll grow.
Right. Absolutely. And also too, like when we, push through the hard thing, because like, 'cause, we're investors, right? We're business owners. And we
Hmm.
don't realize that some people would actually look forward to the problems that we're facing, right? Like we think it's a problem now. Like remember, like you think, man, it'd be great to have a rental property, right? Now you have a rental
Hmm.
property. And when you have other challenges with the rental properties, think back to when, you wanted to have rentals, right? So I
Hmm.
I
Yep.
have to remind myself this a lot because because there's always challenges with my rental properties, whether with tenants, with maintenance. I mean, last week we had a drain line that was leaking, and I mean it's not the most like fun job, but somebody's got to do it. I mean, we had to pump out sewage water from the basement because it leaked in the basement and it filled it up and it shut off the hot water
Oh,
tank because we didn't
gross.
know. The tenant calls, oh, we don't have any hot water. Oh, okay. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, there's probably a pilot light went out. So we go there, 5 inches of sewage water,
Gross.
and then we had to pump it out.
Oh.
So, and when I say we, my maintenance guy, but I was there. But it's still right. Like, hey, um, and this thing is like it was stressful. But then I thought, and then we had to do some digging, and we had to do a little patchwork because the guy that's actually gonna replace the pipe wasn't available till this week. So we had to do a little patchwork just to slow the leak down. And so far, I mean, it did the job. We're not getting a lot of water. We're getting some water, but not enough to be like it's gonna, flood the basement, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
but then thinking back, it's like, man, I remember when just to have, I would dream to have like, oh, if I can have 10 properties or 20 properties or whatever, right? And now that
Hmm.
I'm in, it's like, man, and I get frustrated. I have to remind myself, man, there's times where I wanted to have all these rentals, right? What I would give.
Hmm.
And when we think back, there's other people that would give to have the kind of challenges that we're currently facing, whether it's in our business, whether it's in our investing. They're like, man, I wish I had a business I was running, or I wish
Hmm.
I had multiple investment properties, right? So I
Yep.
have to remind myself when I get frustrated or like, oh man, okay, this is what I've been wanting, so here it is.
Yeah. That's helpful to remind myself of. People tell us that a lot, especially in the shop. When moms come in with their kids, they're like, oh, I wish I could have a business where my kids could be with me all the time. And they have no idea that kids are still kids at the business and they still cry and complain and, disobey and all that kind of stuff at your
Oh,
business while there's a customer in front of you. It's like you wouldn't want this, but reminding myself like, oh yeah, this is the problem someone else wishes they had.
mhm,
I'm trying to be grateful, understanding, grow, right, and just kind of get through it.
right. Yeah. Speaking of growing, I mean, there's something that I've been wanting to do for a while was develop, right?
Hmm.
And I have a property that's just been sitting vacant, and it's really been as much as I try to keep the property maintained. I mean, it's just an old property. I mean, the roof is caving in, and and I have squatters just going in there, breaking, because I would secure it, right? They would open the door, break open the door. They would go in there because it's just a shell, and they would, you know, get high, whatever they do in there,
Hmm.
and,
Hmm.
and it's causing a nuisance. I've gotten several letters from code enforcement. Hey, you've got this property. What are you going to do with it? I eventually want to build, but it's on the list of all the other projects, as you know, that I have, right? So
Uh-huh.
I thought,
Uh-huh.
you know what, it's getting winter, and I think I'm just gonna just level the property. And so, and our process here is when you level a property is you have to obviously get a permit. So you have to
Uh-huh.
go and get the utilities, all the utility company, the water, gas, electric, cable companies to go there and make sure they disconnect it, right? But the thing is it's almost like I have to go on a treasure hunt because I have to find out each individual companies, right? And they have their own department. Oh,
Hmm.
I go to about, well, you need to talk to so and so. So then I have to go to get them to sign off. So, anyways, long story short, took me about almost 2 months just to get all my
Wow.
utilities sign off on because it's just a lot of times they're out in the field. The person that needs to sign the paperwork, they're not there, or if I'm busy, just it's a long story short, took about 2 months to get all the utilities signed, verifying that the power, the gas, the water, the phone, the cable is has been disconnected from the property. And then once you do that, then you take it to the city. You get in Billings here, it's a $10,000 bond. So I got a bond online. I think I paid like $75 for the bond or something like that. And then they issue you a permit. And when you get a permit, you have the permit's good for 6 months. Okay. From when you
Okay.
issue permit for when you have to complete the job. So, and I've had it for about 3 months already because I just been
Hmm.
busy with other things, but I knew I wanted to get done
Yes.
before winter hits. So I thought, well, hey, it'd be good if because if you call around, it's going to cost like $6,000 to $8,000 easily to have a professional company come in there and tear it down. So
Do they do all the permits for you in that situation?
yeah, they do. They do
Gotcha.
permits for you and stuff like that. And I'm assuming they do. Yeah, but I think they did because I had one company that I paid a couple years ago, and it was like 6 grand to get it done. So I thought,
Hmm.
oh, maybe I do this on my own. It's a small house, like 700 square feet. So that, you know what? Maybe I'll learn how to use an excavator. So I went and rented an excavator for a week, thinking that is
Hmm.
it's gonna, I have for a week. I was looking at YouTube on how to use it. I had my maintenance guy, he knows how to operate one. Um, so I figured, well, I'll have him help. And so yesterday we started this process. So we got it in, and as they unloaded the excavator, and the guy from the rental showing us how to use it. And, okay, so we started, and I didn't realize this, but I have a neighbor across the street. So he comes over, hey, I see you guys are taking this down. And start asking me questions. Yeah, I wouldn't mind giving you guys a hand. I said, he's like, sure, why not, right? Because like, this is what I do. I said, what do I, like how much you charge, right? Because I've already got like people that I'm already paying to help, but how would you charge? I guess, you know what, I'll just give you a hand, just give you like 15 minutes or whatever. Then I gotta run. So it's like, sure. So he goes out and he has his own excavator. He drives across the street. And so now we got two excavator. I mean, going at it. And this guy, I tell you, really is really proficient at what he was doing. Way better than my maintenance guy, right? Because my maintenance guy,
Yeah.
he knows, but he's not like this guy. Like it's like he goes. So originally thinking you just go on the roof and just start clawing down, right? But
Uh-huh.
no, this is what he said. He goes, you take the wind, you blow out the windows because the windows have a lot of support, right? So you blow out the window, and you take the base down, and you basically have the roof come down this
Interesting.
way. So, and I have a video of it. And so he was just going to town, just tearing down, blowing out the windows. And it came down in 20 minutes, the whole thing, 20 minutes. And
That's
then
so fast.
that was fast. 20 minutes, the whole thing came down. It's like, wow.
This was
And
a two-story, right?
it's actually like, wow, I like one and a half story because it has
Okay.
the
Okay.
main house, and then it has like an attic, but there's a room in the attic, right? So not quite two-story, but yeah, he just took it down, and then um I was like, wow, it's like now I have this machine for like a whole week. What do I do? So I call up the guy, the rental company, and I said, hey, I thought I needed for a week, but I'm actually done with it. So they came back, and they picked it up. So that saved me some money because it was like $200 a day, something like that
Yeah. Yeah.
um for the excavator. And yeah, so and then we had to wait for the city. We run a dumpster, like a 30-yard dumpster. So it took they didn't get there till noon, so we were already done. So I had my guys leave, okay, you can go and work on other things, and I'll just leave this here. And then the dumpster came. The guy across the street called me, hey, the dumpster's here. And I've actually decided to have him help me just load everything into the dumpster. And he was really proficient with an excavator. It's like, you know what? He's charging me like $100 per load. So that's to me, that's reasonable. So
Hmm.
he's going to do it. Plus, it helps out a neighbor. And I'll probably end up doing like 3 loads. It's like $300 for having to clean it all up for me. And there's also a tree that he's going to take down for me as well. So it's like there's this tree that's like, hey, could you take this tree down? He goes, yeah, I can do that for you. It's like, okay, great. So
Yeah, you got the right connections, found the right people for this kind of job going
yeah, I mean
forward.
this one I just I you know some I think it's like divine intervention, right? It's like they're at the right times, like and this guy is gonna help me. And I have another home that I'm gonna demo. And I said, hey, look, I've got another property. Here's the address. Why don't you take a look at it and you give me a bid, right? Because I told him, if I would have known this, I probably just came to you first and tried to do this myself. Because you got to realize your time, like at what you do, right? It's valuable. It's like even though
Hmm.
I was, I rented, I was going to have, it was cheaper to pay my maintenance guy to do it than have somebody else do it. But
Hmm.
with this guy, he's going to be more proficient than my maintenance guy, right? And I don't have to rent another equipment. He has his own. And
Hmm.
so I'm going to use him instead of using my maintenance guy and having equipment to do the job when he can just do it and he'll be more efficient.
Yep. I think that's the one biggest thing that a lot of business owners need to learn is that like when you pay for things, you get your time back to work on the things that you can only do, right?
Right,
So like you are not great. You could go demo a building, but to pay a guy this much to save you time to go find more leads or do other projects, and he does it better, and he does it for cheaper than other places. I think buying your time back as a business owner to work on the things that are important are things that we usually like to do ourselves, right? And
right.
so paying the money to get it done is a really good
Yeah, it
thing,
is.
lesson to learn.
It is a lesson to learn too. And then too, because in the beginning, that well, it'd be good at like I can pick up a new skill, but at the same time,
Hmm.
it's all right? If you want to go learn, pick up a new skill and do it. But if you have other things that you could be doing instead, then focus on that. So just a balance. And for me, just to have a guy that is proficient, and I think it was also good on his part to just volunteer to help me. Because by doing that, he demonstrated to me his willingness, right? And
Hmm.
he showed me what he could do, right? So it's like, oh, okay, well, I've been on the property. So he just got himself in another gig now because he volunteered, he took 15 minutes of his time to
Hmm.
demonstrate what he could do with his machines. Like, wow. So it's like, yeah, here's another property. Why don't you take a look at it? Because now that I know, like, I don't have to rent equipment. I don't have to have my maintenance guy, do it. This
Hmm.
guy could do it quicker, faster, more efficient. And, cost wise, it's probably a little bit comparable what I would pay my maintenance guy to do it, but
Hmm.
it just be done.
That's wonderful. And so your goal for this, like it sounds like you're upgrading your property or you're you're taking like the asset you got, the land, demolishing the property, building an asset that's like better quality, longer lasting, like won't get the kind of same tenants and people around there. That really adds to your portfolio. So is that you seem like that's a great investment? That's a good way for you to go. Should everyone go that way? Is this
Well,
just a great opportunity for you?
I think for me right now, it's a great opportunity because I'm looking at like my portfolio. It's like, man, I've got like 5 other properties that have whether it's additional lots or whether it's just an old home that I can just wipe down and build. And that and one, it's a good way to upgrade my portfolio. Then I didn't see. I figured I'm still in the process. I haven't really looked into, but the cost to build would probably be better for me moving forward than to go out and buy something that's already existing that's old that I have to. Because if I was to go out and say build, because my intention on this one is to tear it down and put a fourplex on there, 4 units brand new. right?
hmm
And if you look around right now with the fourplex that's in good condition and stuff, you're paying 500 to $600,000 or
hmm
more, right?
Yep.
Um, I figured I could probably build it for around 100,000 per unit or
Mm.
less, right? I'll have to look into that numbers, but I will keep you guys posted as I move forward on with this journey. But I think I could probably build it for less than
That's a big deal because then if you have higher interest rates on something like this, like construction loans are a little bit higher. Then if you fix it for 30 years, you're at over 6% still right now,
Mhm.
right? Unless you
Yeah.
get
So
so
let's just say right now, okay. Let's just say I can get it built for 400,000, let's say. Let's do a
okay.
little calculation. And I haven't done a construction loan, so I don't know what the process, but let's just say 400,000 and say the interest rate, what do you say, 7%, 8%?
Yeah, do 6.5.
Okay. 6.5. And it's short term, or is it 30 years?
It'd be 30 years if you have it fixed.
Okay, have it fixed. So that would be like $2,500. Taxes, insurance, you're probably looking at maybe 2,700 bucks, right?
hmm
On a $400,000 property that's brand new. I don't have
hmm
to worry about any maintenance. And here's the thing, like I know because I would do at least a two-bedroom, one bath per unit. And I know I
hmm
can get $1,500 because next door, because I have a property next to it, it's a duplex, it's a two-bedroom, one bath. I'm getting $1,500. And then and it's old. Like this is like since it's an old property. So
Uh-huh.
I can easily get 15 easy on a two-bedroom. So you times that by four, what's that? $6,000 a month
hmm
in gross income, right? And my payments, tax insurance can be what? It's about 2,700. So
hmm
that's that's almost a $3,000 a month cash flow on a
Yeah.
brand new property that I don't have to worry about maintenance. Because I think I've shared with you some of my frustration lately about just having um, problems that with older properties, right? The leaks,
hmm
the water heater, the furnace. I mean, it's just, it's just never ending. Even though you put aside money um, for um, for capex, right? But it
Uh-huh.
still eats away because if you multiply that by as many units as I have, right?
hmm
It it just starts to eat away. It's like, man. So this was kind of been thinking, it's been marinating in my mind for a while. It's like, man, I should just go and instead of going out and trying to buy something, why don't I just go and build something?
Yeah. It's a great idea. That makes so much sense. Like if you put your money in, get it fixed, it's brand new, get better tenants in there, you get a better quality property, and then you depreciate with your taxes. Like great deal. Especially if you can
Yeah.
get it for a right price, or like if you have those connections with people, they can get that
Hmm.
for you done well, right?
Yeah.
I think that'd be the best thing is like since you're in the industry and you know people who do that, like getting those relationships for people who can build it for you at the right place with high quality, who won't cut corners,
Hmm.
right? And we'll get it done on time in Montana right now is
Yeah.
the biggest thing,
Yeah.
I
And
think,
I
for
think for me, obviously I will be the GC on this, right? So be very hands-on. It's like my first build project. So I'll be doing a lot of research, about building and construction work. I mean, I have family members that built their house from the ground up, but they hired a GC and
hmm
they're, you know, sometimes I hear them complaining, he didn't do this right, he didn't do that right. So, but of course they're trying to build high-end homes for themselves, but I'm just gonna build like I want to build it so it's going to be a good for the long term, you know,
hmm
but like hard surfaces for countertops and for flooring, things like that.
hmm
I would call it tenant proofing, right? Like what I do,
Yes.
tenant proof my existing properties. Now I can start fresh, right? And say, okay, this is how we're going to do it. make the layout more efficient. Um, and oh, speaking of which, obviously I have to, but I know the zoning would allow me to put a single family home, right? But I want to put
Mhm.
like a multi-family home. So a strategy that I would be using, just for example, I've looked into this, but just say that they won't allow me to put a duplex. Say, hey, you know what? You can just put a single family home in here. Well, what I would do is I would build a single family home in such a way that once it's completed, that I could be able to convert it to a multifamily, right? So if I
Mhm.
build a 4 bedroom, 2 bath home, right? And with an extra where I can add another kitchen or stuff like that. Then once it's closed, then I can just, put up an extra wall or something. Then now I can separate it.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah,
mean,
that's a
there's
great idea.
yeah, yeah. Because I mean, that's the same thing which I did with the house next door. It was a single family home, and it had a mud room, and that stairs going up to the top level, and upstairs has a 2 bedroom, 1 bath with a living area. Thought, well, hey, why do I convert this into another apartment? So in the mudroom, I put up a wall in the mudroom. So now downstairs, instead of having 1 bedroom, it has 2 bedrooms now because that mudroom is actually a room now, right? Because it's right off the kitchen. And
Hmm.
then upstairs, where the living room is, I add a kitchenette. I put cabinets in, plumb it up. And so now
Hmm.
I have a a 2 bedroom upstairs, 2 bedroom downstairs. I'm getting 1,200 for upstairs, and then I'm getting $1,500 for the downstairs. So
Nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that would be my strategy if the zoning, because obviously you want to follow your zoning requirements, but there's this way you can be creative about it, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's smart. Yeah, to get around that, because the city I've heard is, or like the county, some of the hardest things to work for, and they take so long, and their laws to get anything changed takes forever. And it's just better like to find those tricks that work
Mhm.
within the system and get what you want.
Right, yeah. So and if they could allow me to put because ultimately I want to put a fourplex on there, and I'll find out when I go to the city and talk to them and go through that process, which
Hmm.
obviously I'll be sharing with you guys, so you can see what the process is and what I'm going through.
Love it. Yeah, I'm excited to see what you do and how you make it work.
Yeah. So let's transition back to the market. I mean, what are you experiencing right now? What are you seeing in in the market?
I'm seeing there's a lot of homes on the market and not moving personally. I could be wrong on that, but the last time we talked to some realtors, they're like, where are the buyers, man? Like, where are
Hmm.
they? They're not here. They're on the sideline. They're waiting. They're waiting for the election. They're waiting for interest rates. So it seems like people are really on the fence and they're really scared about what will
Hmm.
happen. And as far as I think the election might change, like will probably affect people's psychology of buying.
I think so.
I don't think it's gonna affect the actual market so much unless you have people like if Trump gets elected, maybe interest rates will come down. Probably not like aggressively as people think. If Kamala gets elected, whatever bad money policy they have might continue and things might get affected later. But I don't know. It just seems like there's a lot of people on the sideline just waiting to see what will happen.
Right.
Um,
I think
but
too, as people are waiting, as a investor or even as a first time buyer, if you're listening to this, like this is a time to be aggressive, right? Because now you have inventory that's sitting. Obviously, the seller wants to sell, right? Otherwise, they just pull off the market. And you could basically just put in an offer, like ask for the moon, see what happens.
yeah,
Right. So, because okay, prime example, I have a property that I've listed. I have it on the market. It's a triplex, 25. It's been sitting, right? And I got an offer. It came in way below. It came in at like I don't know if I can say this online. I guess I'll share it anyways. But it came in like 210, way below what what I'm asking from 210.
Hmm.
Um, actually no, I take that back. It's not 210, 240. So like
Okay.
45,000 dollars less than what I'm asking for. Now, um, it's a starting point, then I can counter. Obviously, I'm countering and it's going to be less than the 285 that I have. But you know what? He gave you a shot. Like, hey, I'll pay you
Hmm.
40 for this triplex, which even at 285, it's a good deal because that property gross income is about $3,100 a month gross income. And
Hmm.
there's room to grow too. So um, but as a buyer or investor out there, like go put some low offers. Don't worry about offending. I wasn't offended at that offer. It's like, oh, okay, well, I know he has some interest, so let's start the conversation.
Yeah, I agree. I think that finding the ones that are market, I've heard over 90 days, good place to
Hmm.
start, the oldest
Absolutely.
ones. And then go online, see calculators if you want to wholesale it, like get a wholesale calculator, see what you need to get for it so you can sell it to a investor or end buyer if you have a list. And then if you're looking to hold, buy and hold, like make sure the numbers really work, make sure your cash on cash returns 30% or more, make sure your cash flowing like at least 500 bucks with all the utilities, all the expenses, all the savings,
Hmm.
all the repairs, right? But I think it's a great time to add to your portfolio. If you
Absolutely.
put like make the dials, I think, and talk to the real estate agents who also sometimes just don't get back to you. I'm
Yes.
really frustrated. That's like my frustration right now. I'm like calling on leads and like I'm calling again. I call again and I email and I call again and nothing. And I'm like,
Hmm.
are you really like you really want to sell? Like I don't think you do,
Right. Yeah,
but
especially right now when I know agents aren't that busy right now. So, like, anyways, so if you're a realtor out there, return your phone calls, you guys. I mean, that's money out.
yeah, seriously.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's been a good conversation. Let's next week we'll have more topics to discuss and we'll share with you guys what we're going through and what we're doing in our business. Hopefully you get some value out of this, like and subscribe, and we'll
Hmm.
see you next time.
All right, see you later.